Calling the meeting to order. I'm stepping in for the judge, for the assistant, for, I don't know, we lost people. Can we have roll call, please? Martinez, Erica? Bluestone?
Here.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Here.
No, wrong Gonzalez. That's okay. Rosalie, okay. Jesus Sanchez, is he on the?
There's,
Okay, I need the list.
those are attendees.
It's on the agenda, right?
It's on the agenda?
Yeah. We had a decent field of things.
Oh, up here, no? Okay, Bianca Brewster, Natalie Lewis, Angie Ancida,
Present.
Dr. Lopez,
Present.
David Garcia is the one that's not present, Sandra Solis, not here, and that's it?
Yes.
Okay. So we need to follow with the review of the minute meetings. Oh, sorry, public comments. I skipped that one. Do we have any public? Nope, okay. So review of the last minute meetings. Has everybody had a chance to review? For any changes?
Motion to approve?
Pardon me?
You have a motion to approve?
I don't have a motion to approve. Has everybody reviewed? Okay, do I have a motion to
Yes, I can
approve?
make a motion to approve.
Second to? Thank you. Minutes have been approved. Okay, and I'm looking for here it is, the agenda. So we want to welcome Miriam Ayala, newly appointed to the committee for District 3. Welcome, Miriam. I'm District 6, Rosalie.
I work in the shelter. I'm the operations manager.
Ms.
Nice to
Bluestone.
meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm Gilbert Gonzalez.
Angie Ancida, District 7.
Victor Lopez, veterinarian. Margaret Rubio from legal.
So I had Judge Garcia appointed, is he gonna not,
Well, evidently, he's an elected official now,
Okay.
so
So I
he
can
had to
appoint somebody?
resign his
I need to appoint
position.
somebody?
You need to
Okay.
appoint somebody, yes. So moving on with, the items for discussion is a review and examine changes to the ordinances.
That was me.
That was you?
That was me.
Yes.
So how do you guys feel if we took this time, we will address other things as they come up, but to go through the ordinance?
Excuse me, can we focus our attention over here? Thank you.
How do you guys feel about if we went through, and of course other things as they come up through the year will be addressed, but I think that if we do want to make some changes and also include the public in that, which is what we're all here for as the advisory committee, go through sections of the ordinances. And kind of, it might take a little legwork outside of here to kind of review, check with other cities, what you guys think the direction that you want to go, and kind of bring back some thoughts if we brought it section to section. It's an idea, because I know that that's pretty much what we follow. So, and I know that it's definitely in need. I have written what what I did, but obviously you guys are the public, so I definitely want to have that opportunity for input. Maybe you guys find a better city to have an example of, but if we go through, and maybe first assignment is you guys come up with like your top 5 sections of the ordinance that you wanna go through first, and we'll kind of start there. It's a thought process, just to kind of get a little bit more organization in the meeting, and also that's a huge direction given to what Animal Services does, because that's what we go by. If you guys wanna scrap that idea, that's cool, but, I just wanna make sure that you guys have an opportunity to kind of review and be a part of that ordinance change.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
I know last meeting we had, there was a question of, and I posed the question, how old a particular ordinance was. And it ended up being very old, almost as old as me.
There's a lot of ordinances, in Laredo, following that category. You know, we're definitely, in that category of, hey, I think it is about time. I know on the last, board meeting, which was yesterday.
November, October.
The council meeting, yesterday, I did make several changes already to strengthen, exotics in this area, to eliminate pretty much most, exotics that you cannot have them within the city limits. There was a word change because apparently a lot of the running at large was getting thrown out. So, one word changed kind of that, so hopefully when it's presented in front of judges, they won't just throw it out right away. And I think there's one more change, the length of a tether, I found 10 feet not appropriate and put it at 15.
Correct.
So, those were the changes that were passed, first reading last night. So it's already kind of started, but I want to make sure that everybody's included. If we want to look at what defines a shelter, if we want to look at, whatever you guys feel is most important, and kind of like itemize, all right, these are our priorities, let's kind of start here and go through. Because again, I mean, we want you to be part of this change.
Right.
So.
And these ordinances include animal cruelty ordinances in place.
Chapter 6.
So,
But
that's something that we all need to review.
Well, yeah, and you tell me, all right, if it's the cruelty section that you want to start with, if it's this, now fee schedules are a little different, like we can't necessarily get into the fee schedules because we don't set them, we can certainly make suggestions, and we can bring that forth to legal and council, but those are specifically set by council, so we can nudge here and there, I know they love that. But I think if we start by actually changing some of the language, kind of getting it up to par, and cruelty, absolutely, hands down. If that's the top one that you guys are all about, we can start there. I just want to make sure that, again, you guys are involved in kind of those suggestions and then putting it up. Of course, legal has to review absolutely everything because I don't always write in legalese, but once that goes forward, I think Laredo's ready to kind of really examine that, and then after that kind of change our practices and stuff like that on how we make that possible, such as the field or whatnot.
I think that the change is very much needed, and I think we should attack that. Angie has been addressing a lot of animal cruelty cases. Do you want to start on reviewing the animal cruelty section?
So do me a favor, go through chapter 6 and like the sections that you're most wanting to highlight, notate, whatever, and then on the following, bring that back and say, okay guys, this is what we're gonna do. If you have suggested changes, this is what I want to see. Legal loves when we look at other cities and other ordinances and kind of follow best practices. That doesn't, as long as we follow this Texas state, it doesn't mean that we have to only look in Texas. But as long as we can do state and stricter. So you can look outside of the state of Texas if there's another organization that you're like, oh my gosh, they have it going on, I wanna, add that, or kind of look, but we can start on cruelty. That might take us a little bit, not to lie.
Well, we can section it up, I think, because she's done a lot on this, she can do that.
Okay.
And she can work in junction with someone else. We can look at I'll look at other sections, and maybe if we attack it in that fashion, we could get through it a lot
Are we
quicker.
forming a subcommittee?
We will have to, right now, we have to elect, a whole new board here, so,
That's for.
I had a question, and I don't know if you, if you, like, the case we had on December, 2 governments,
Okay,
you took one, but how about the other one?
I think,
Because if they're doing cruelty to one, why not take the other one too? And don't let them get animals anymore.
okay, so how sometimes that works is a judge actually has to order the other one to, for us to actually be able to remove something that isn't in what they call imminent danger. That oftentimes is a judge or a court order that allows us to actually go in and remove the one that's not in, the one like you were talking about, the one that's super thin, the one that's this. Because the other thing that we do have to look at, and it's unfortunate, but we have to look at all of the items. Does that animal have an underlying health condition? Is this something that it was just not treated with this animal because they didn't know, because they didn't take it to the vet, but this one, I'm telling you what we get presented with up in front of the judge. Now, with that said, it also depends, because remember, we work really closely with PD. So once it jumps up to a misdemeanor and felony, we are on scene to document and advise. Their investigation team, and that's a whole nother team. I wish they were here too, because I don't want to speak for them, but it is a whole nother team that operates probably a little differently than we do. But I'm telling you, for an ordinance violation and stuff like that, it has to go through and actually get a court order to remove certain things, or get a seizure warrant to remove certain things that aren't necessarily in imminent danger.
Is animal control, is gonna continue, checking the other dog, or is that?
That specific one, so what we do in those instances is we set pending dates, so we get reminders on the computer once we open up Pet Point. And what it will do is it'll set a date. On this date, you need to go back to revisit the property. And we do that with, our computer system does it for us, so we don't have to remember, because we're not really great sometimes at remembering. It sets a date, and then we'll go back on that date to check. If there's changes that are in the negative, then we can go forth on that. That's how it normally works.
So I think, your idea of forming subcommittees is very good. I think we can bring in people from outside of the group of the advisory committee, as we had previously discussed, to form those subcommittees and help, like Angie can get a group to help her. Bianca, you tackle another section, and I think a good suggestion would be for everybody to review the ordinances and then suggest, I have somebody in mind and we'd like to tackle this section. And somebody else can tackle another section. And I think if we work in that fashion, we'll be able to cover more in less time.
Okay.
Although the animal cruelty is gonna be difficult. Another thing that we need to keep in mind is the fines. The state of Texas limits certain fines. It is not up to the city.
It's not, no, there's a fee schedule, and sometimes that's like getting animals out or what we can charge, like at that point, that's these guys.
Right.
And by these guys, I mean that guy.
That guy, okay.
Yeah.
You're the guy. You're the
But no, there is a limit, but oftentimes, again, and this is on kind of us to communicate with court systems, to be like, all right, guys, we do need to start being maybe a little harsher with some of the punitive. Although I did see a post where someone was like, yeah, it's a $3,000 fine if you do. That's when it bumps up to a misdemeanor. That is not us. That is not normally a fine that you will see for a general ordinance violation. So again, it's all about the communication with PD and their legal department in conjunction with ours.
Okay, so is there a motion to go ahead and review and attack this in subcommittees? We break up. You can just email. For the time being, send an email to me as to who is going to work on what section. And once we get the elected chair in place, we'll communicate everything to that person.
And everybody should have everybody's email in the group message that's for like, hey, reminder, we're all supposed to meet here. So I think everybody's email, just so you know, is in there.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion passed. I'm a little rusty. I do attend all the meetings. Okay, so we've got, scheduling for the upcoming year.
That was me. I was the only one that put stuff down because I don't think anybody else submitted, but I wanted to kind of start it off on the right foot. I just want to make sure that Wednesdays work still. Like, this has been an ongoing time for quite a while. If something, I don't know if, I know during COVID it was virtual. After I know people work. I know if I'm throwing it at you guys to say, hey, New Year is Wednesdays at 12:30 still a good thing, or is that something that you guys want to talk about, discuss? Is there a better date, a better time? Can we do this virtual? I don't know. No, we cannot because we can't record it or something.
Yeah, no, we would have to get approval first.
We
But
can try.
no other committees do virtual.
No, because I definitely don't want, 12 o'clock or 12:30 on a Wednesday, people do work. So I do want to make sure that we're trying to remove all the barriers possible for attendance purposes.
I'm okay with Wednesdays, Fridays, and transport.
Okay, so Fridays are out. I'll let you guys. I just wanted to bring it up that it's possible to start off the new year.
How many districts are we pending to, because I see we're barely making quorum, and that's gonna be the case.
We are pending number 4,
And one now.
Number 5 and number 1.
number 5,
And who's 2?
number 1.
Natalie Lewis. She's on maternity leave.
Okay, that's 2? Okay.
Yes, she's 2.
So 5, that way I can also let them know.
Yes.
5, 4, yeah.
5, 4?
Yeah, I spoke to Rick last night,
Okay,
so
good.
I'll follow up with her.
Awesome, yes, please.
District 4 is Mr. Perez.
Oh,
Yes, okay.
Oh, Mr. Perez.
Yes.
also you're
Oh, I'm
appointed last
sorry.
night?
Last night, yes, sir.
Awesome, well,
Oh,
congratulations.
forgive us,
No,
okay.
it's okay, I apologize for being here a little bit late, but yes.
Welcome.
No, it's fine, we didn't have you in the,
Yes,
I
it's
guess-
because he was just appointed last night.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Okay, so
Well,
you were
thank you.
sworn in
I'm sworn in
and
and-
saw your video and.
I have not seen the video.
Okay, you can't be here, no.
No, I have not seen the video, but I guess I'll watch it as soon as possible, but I appreciate y'all having me here.
So how you feel about the scheduling?
Good, that works with me,
Not a problem.
not a problem.
Okay, so, yes, ma'am.
Wednesdays is good for me as well, just Tuesdays and Thursdays, no, because I have class.
Oh, okay.
Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, out.
And Monday,
Monday's
forget.
out, 'cause that's
Monday
what-
is too
Mondays,
chaotic.
Mondays, Wednesdays it is.
Wednesday is, okay.
Okay.
So motion to retain Wednesday as our meeting day and time. Do we have a motion? Second.
I know there was a discussion to go option to go virtual, can we look into that? No?
We can look into it.
We can look into it and bring it back, just so
Yes,
we can
ma'am.
leave it open.
We can look into it.
You're telling me no with your eyes.
I guess it's better like this,
Okay,
It's just an option for
right?
when the majority can't meet, then we can go to
Oh,
virtual.
like,
And not
okay.
miss out on the
Again, I
meeting.
just wanna make it easier as possible, maybe somebody's lunch hour is this time frame, and you can't take off work or something, you can pop on your phone in your car or something. I just wanna look at being able to remove all the barriers,
Yeah.
so that we have the most people.
We can check and leave it on the table.
Yes, because sometimes I am on transport, on an emergency
And you can
transport,
log in. Yeah,
and I can participate
exactly.
via the phone, because I know.
Well, and maybe we can make a stipulation that you can do virtual 3 or 4
There we go.
meetings out of the year, or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't know, it's just a thought.
Okay, so we'll look into it,
I have a
right?
question. If we missed last year, is it counts this year too, or no?
Or is it a
We missed,
clean slate?
one meeting,
When,
no?
when's the
Because that's
year
what I heard in
start?
the meeting.
October.
October.
October is our physical year.
Yeah, because I know they're gonna become really strict on attendance now.
That I saw.
Yeah, that's why I'm trying to be like, okay,
Exactly.
let's try to figure something out.
Another thing we'd like to leave, and we'd like to look at and consider is last year we missed November and December because of the holidays. I'd like to leave the option open for when those holidays fall, we can meet on another day. This year, November the 26th is a holiday, so we won't be able to meet on that Wednesday. And December 30, so we're gonna have the same situation.
Mhm.
So can we leave that open to slide those 2 days, is that allowed?
We can move it to another.
Another-
As long as
Week
you make a
before?
motion.
The week before.
Oh, the week before, or, no,
The month
December
before.
is the 24th.
If I may, so we won't revisit, I'm sorry. The meetings cannot be virtual.
Why?
Members can join virtually, but quorum would not be established, it has to be in person.
Okay, well, and can they bring up a discussion if they're virtual?
No, so quorum won't be established.
But if there's quorum here, let's just say.
Oh, yeah,
November
they-
transport, Can
they-
she discuss out through Zoom
They can, as long as quorum
or
is.
vote? Can she
As
vote?
long
Because
as
they're not in quorum in person.
So they wouldn't be voting at that point, but does the attendance count against
No.
them?
Well, yeah, they did, because if they didn't show up in person, quorum is not met.
Well, let's just say quorum is met, but she still wants to log in and participate on the meeting.
Is there
But I
availability?
still
Votes,
can't vote.
yeah, votes won't be,
Is-
because she's not in the quorum in person.
Is that like city?
Yes.
That's probably from the 50s. Awesome.
Can we review that ordinance?
We can review that also.
Where can we have an open discussion about that?
I will revisit, we can revisit again.
Okay.
Well, because the only thing is, I guess my theory is if, and I agree, attendance, there's been a lot of boards that haven't met, and the attendance hasn't been that great, and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if we're really gonna hit hard at
Yeah, business
that,
will get done and we, I mean.
Yeah.
right,
We can definitely revisit and clarify that.
Or check out the ordinance.
Exactly.
Okay.
maybe that's another ordinance we can work
Right,
on.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, if it has to.
I just wanna make sure that
Yeah.
people can actually, and we don't
Understood
make
and
it.
agreed, it just, we'll look into it and
Okay.
have more
I
clarity.
mean, this is not the planning and zoning commission.
Right.
It's close.
It's, I'm not saying.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll leave Wednesdays, but November and December, we'll leave it open to shifting it maybe to a Tuesday
Yes, I would only be having this schedule
this week.
just the week before, no? I mean,
The
what's
week,
it for?
well, but the
Yes.
week before in December is the 24th.
Oh, the week
My-
before.
My in-person classes are only until June.
Okay.
After that,
But we'll still
free.
leave it at Wednesday.
Yeah, so later in the year, we'll decide on those 2 months to
Yeah,
avoid
we-
a lapse in meeting, okay? Okay, so do we have a second? Okay, motion passed, we'll retain Wednesdays, with the option of rescheduling the last 2 months. Next item is, discussion on bylaws and board positions.
So my question, Elise, question for you. Is this the one that we sent to Judge, or is this the old one?
The old one.
The old one, okay. I can, one of us can send out the kind of revised, updated one that I sent to the judge to kind of look at that. Cause this is what we were starting with, and there were a few little changes made, but I guess he didn't review it or whatever. But we can get that and then have that discussion on the changes of the article, or the, bylaws. And it's not a lot, and it really mirrored other boards, so it wasn't anything like life-changing. I think it did, it changed the duties just a little bit, because I think there was chair, vice chair, and secretary, which this actually has all three. Are you sure this is it the old one?
Pardon?
Are we sure this is the old one?
I think this is the old one. I'm not certain.
Yeah, because I think we had, because the job descriptions for chair, vice chair, and secretary were spelled out in the articles, and this does not have it, so. But
Okay.
I can, myself or Delise can send out the updated, the one we sent to
I
Judge.
don't have the updated one.
You don't,
No.
didn't you have the judge email? I sent it.
No.
Okay, alright, we'll get it to you. One way or another, it will be in your email boxes to kind of just look over. And again, I think one of the biggest changes was what is the chair, vice chair, and secretary's responsibility. Cause it doesn't really say that.
So, we will wait to review those bylaws before we vote. And maybe we'll get a couple of more members in here.
For the bylaws, yeah, it's up to you guys if you wanna figure out chair, vice chair, or secretary right now. I mean, that's up to you.
Well, we have two vacancies.
Yep.
And we have an absentee.
Mhm.
So, wouldn't it be better if we just waited till the next meeting to vote in a chair, vice chair, and a secretary?
It's up to you.
It's up to me.
Well,
That's what
Okay.
That's what I would recommend.
I suggest that, we postpone voting those three positions at our next meeting.
and you guys can review possibly what the responsibilities are instead of walking in blind.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
I would suggest just consider if you wanna nominate yourself or somebody else, and then put voting on the board members on the next agenda to give notice to the public, and then you can do it at the next meeting when it's full, when all members are present.
And I'll find the updated version and then get that out right away, so you guys can definitely, this is what I would be doing in this position.
And then also, if you have any suggested changes on the bylaws, bring that up as well before they're voted on, if you wanna do that at the next meeting as well.
Oh, okay.
I only had two people, I think, make suggestions last time that I incorporated it in, but yeah, please, cause we asked
I
before.
didn't even see it. I apologize.
Well, no, I did not give it out. I think everybody, I think had this, and then I submitted it to the judge, cause he was the chair, to review and present, so, but I think there was only two minor suggestions that were brought to my attention when I was doing that. But I'll get it out to you, and the changes aren't that, the format's a little easier to read, but other than that, it's all good.
Okay, so, motion to, put on the agenda for next month's meeting, the approval, we're gonna vote on the bylaws, and, we're gonna vote on a chair, vice chair, and secretary. A second?
Second.
Thank you. Motion passes. Now we have, establish board goals for the upcoming year.
Okay, I put that on there too, guys, but my suggestion was to work on the ordinances and then do the bylaws and all that. I leave it to you guys. Is there anything else that you guys want to think about, or what you guys want this committee to kind of go forward and say, yes, this is the year for ordinances, this is the year for this is the year for that, but I wanted to put that topic out there so that, again, we're a little more organized when we can go and say, oh yes, we actually have this action item that we can do, and yeah, but I don't know what it is you guys want to do, but I wanted to be able to open that discussion for you guys.
I think we all agree here that we wanna see changes in the ordinances. I think last year we passed one ordinance, and I think we wasted a lot of time on discussing operational issues rather than helping the animal care services improve. And on that point, who attended the meeting, when was it, Monday? You attended, okay, all right.
I watched it online after.
Oh, you did virtual?
I have handouts for y'all. It's cheat sheets on ethics, TOMA, Robert's rules, all that. So I'll hand those out at the end.
Thank you,
Mhm.
appreciate it very much. So I think that meeting, that training session kind of gave us guidelines as to where we need to focus and how to approach, on all committees, how to approach changes and what are the important issues to address. And that's basically what I wanted to say about that.
And I believe they're posted online if anyone's interested in rewatching them or watching them.
Yeah. So that would be something for everybody to review. Any old business that needs to be revisited?
Yes, no?
About the shelter or just,
Old business that we discussed that needs to be brought back up.
I'll say animal cruelty.
Well, you're gonna work on that,
Yeah.
okay?
I have a hard time working on that.
You got a goal, right?
Yes.
So let's
I'm
improve.
on top of it.
Okay, good. Other than that?
Maybe spay neuter? Spay
Um,
neuter is like, we've seen so many like animals outside.
People are often asking when the spay and neuter clinics are going to be happening.
I'm sorry.
spay neuter clinics?
Okay, so, while you guys have the year of the ordinance, one of our biggest things as far as the shelter goes is kind of the year of the spay neuter, right? I'm looking at, funding sources for that. We've had a lot of success in, not just what we do at the shelter, but also bringing in, groups and a lot of the times it's on the weekends. We're playing catch up, I'm not gonna lie to you, for the animals that are fostered to adopt. We are playing catch up on getting those guys done, pretty regularly. We do some for, the rescues, so they're ready for transport, and we are really focusing in on the TNVR for the surgeries that are done at the shelter. Now with other grant sources, we're still looking at partnering with other vet clinics to continue with the voucher systems, so that it's not necessarily at a clinic itself. It actually allows the individual to call around, see whatever vet hospital that's on the list that we give, make an appointment that way, and a lot of the times that works around somebody's schedule a lot better, because they can, call the vet and say, hey, you have this appointment, I'm off this day, or whatever, versus sometimes the large spay or neuter clinics, if that makes sense. But again, we are desperately looking for more funding sources to make that happen, to get more weekend big spay neuter stuff done. And hopefully at some point we can really focus also in on doing more TNVR, the trap, neuter, vaccinate, release for the public. Doing public surgeries at the shelter is not something that the shelter is ready to do just yet. We don't have the staffing and we don't have the resources just yet to even look in that direction. I will tell you, we are, and actually at the board meeting or council meeting last night, they approved the architectures for building a new veterinary clinic on site at the shelter, which would, I want to say they're going to try to build it four operating tables versus just the two. More space, more availability. You could probably have two groups come in at one time, depending on the size of the groups, and kind of work. So we're really trying to expand that, and we're trying to expand the holding areas where people would bring in the stray cats and whatnot to increase the capacity. With that said, the way it is right now, it's not necessarily best practice, and I'll tell you, because the cats and the dogs are in the same room. They're all this. This is going to design to make that flow a little better. It's what we have, and I'll tell you, our vet teams work amazing with what we have. But we're going to try to step it up a little bit. Also to kind of say, hey, we got this veterinary clinic. Come on, do your magic with spay and neuter. But the architectural award was given last night, so we're hoping that if everything goes well, we'll at least start breaking ground midsummer.
Who's the architect?
It's an architect. We had two bids, and the ex-architect, it's ex-architect, not A, I don't know why I said A. But they won the bid last night, so they'll do their proposal, they'll do what we're kind of work with us on what we're asking, and then fingers crossed, we'll break ground. That'll hopefully get a little bit more vets that want to come and do spay and neuter at our facility, like on the weekends for the big spay and neuter stuff, but we'll see. But it is literally the year for spay and neuter that we're gonna try to do.
Vice President, and as far as funding, so you just pretty much have to kind of stick to what the city gives you? Is it a possibility for like maybe the community to open up some type of fundraiser? Does that have to be monitored by someone, because you know how all these fake accounts and stuff collect
So,
money for the wrong
fundraising, I would suggest, and Eagle's here to correct me if I'm wrong, in order to fundraise, we cannot necessarily fundraise, being a government entity. Normally, a partner 501c3 would do the fundraising for, and then the funds would be funneled in specifically and designated specifically for, yes, a specific account for spay and neuter, and then that is utilized through the city to pay whatever vendors we have on. But we can't necessarily do the fundraising. It's got to be a 501c3.
There's a formal donation process that would need to, like, there's a form you fill out, so we would need to go through that process before the money is given to the city.
Okay.
Before the money's given to the city.
So let's just say, like, you collected like $10,000 or whatever, right, from the general public. There is a process, so the city kind of accepts in a legal manner the donations and what it's used for.
Can the donations be accepted with a specific application?
I believe so, but I need to double check.
Please double check.
Yes.
I had been told previously that any monies we donated, the city was free to do with whatever they wanted. So it defeats the purpose.
I need to circle back with you, but I'll double
Please.
check and I'll make sure.
Oh,
Please.
sure.
Please, yeah. Well, that's why we paid for a couple of visits for spay neuter house, paid for it instead of donating to the city.
Yeah.
We paid it outright.
And if that's not, then, I mean, that can be done utilizing our facilities. Like, if it comes down to where that's the answer that we get, and the comfort level is, okay, let's like, you do direct payment
Yeah,
to
like an invoice.
whatever, yeah, and then we will go ahead and provide the facility and all the supplies and
Yeah.
all that fun stuff.
But any suggestions for fundraisers for city, utilization for
Question,
spay
so
neuter?
are we, let's say for example, we come up with the fundraiser idea, is it possible to advertise funding or whatever is donations we receive will be donated to the city of Laredo or no? Like, can we foresay that it's gonna be for that purpose, because in that sense, we're kinda like saying, or raising money for them?
I mean, if you're doing it as private citizens and you're not
Private
doing it
citizens.
as, you know, on behalf of the city of Laredo,
Okay.
then I would think that you could do it.
Okay.
As long as you're not using the city emblem and saying,
Okay.
we're requesting on behalf of the city.
Got it,
Right,
okay.
but any, suggestions from anyone for raising funds for spay neuter?
Do you wanna add that as a goal? Like
Yeah,
the-
we're all for it,
Like
we're all
one
for
of
it.
the,
We have
maybe
the
have,
goal.
right, no, maybe like, I mean, you guys said, I mean, the goal doesn't have to be fundraising, the goal can be, you know, or goals, to, spay and neuter weekends for, it can be community animals, TMB, whatever, doesn't matter, like, but, I mean.
Community animals
Yeah.
is what we need. I
Right.
mean, we do need TNR,
Yeah.
but we do need community
Correct.
availability.
Not for
because-
rescues, for the community. already.
Not for rescues, exactly.
And again, I mean, you could put that as establishment of a board goal, that could be one of the board goals, like, and you can set maybe the first year one, where you do 100 animals for the community, so, I don't know, whatever. I mean, we can, it's up to you guys.
I know we can, all together, we can do an impact.
Oh, absolutely, and that, spay and neuter's at the top of the list, it actually has been for quite a while.
Yeah.
So, but again, that's a very, very big focus this year.
Val is refocusing to spay neuter this year. We're working very diligently to get a couple of mobile clinic dates down here.
And I think that's the only way that we're really gonna get, like, I mean, that's the systemic issue, is we don't have spay neuter, we don't have, this community doesn't have the resources for the amount of spay and neuters, and sometimes pet owners don't have the resources for spay and neuters, so it's like a trifecta of barriers against getting Laredo animals, fixed, so.
So that'll be one of our goals, is to get more dates there. Any other business? Okay, should we, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Done. Delise, I hope you're taking notes.
Yes.
Thank you.